I am resident of Collard for YouTube Joel Sands. That's my buddy Patrick McCrass, my buddy Daniel Culver. We're here to review the movie Daughters of Darkness, which co-stars John Carlin of Dark Shadows fame. Um, Very interesting character he plays in this movie. So, usually I ask when you guys first saw this, which I will. But what did you guys think of John Carlin's character here, Daniel?
He's Daniel,
Sorry,
please.
I'll do
No, no,
Daniel.
no, Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, like I actually liked him. I thought he was, pretty interesting.
Yeah. Patrick?
Well, I saw him somewhat differently. I don't think he was exactly gentlemanly in his treatment of his wife,
Well, that is a good
or
point.
of
Yeah.
the gal with the shower thing. Uh,
Oh, that's really good. I kind of figured that was more like, I don't know. Maybe I was putting. Oh man, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I thought, like maybe there was like some influence, but yeah, I might be wrong. Maybe there wasn't
no,
to
I
him.
think you could be right. It's hard to tell though because he's not exactly a warm, fuzzy character to begin with. He doesn't want to take her to meet his mom. He's tipping the guy to lie about, what the telephone communication's like. He won't
Oh yeah.
say he loves his wife.
Oh yeah. I will admit, like
I
he
get,
when. Okay.
is he holding out for something better? My
Oh yeah, that could be.
God.
Now, yeah, you're right. He wouldn't be someone I would hang out with personally, but with movies, I'm a fan of flawed characters.
Well, you picked the right film with this one.
Yeah.
There are really no likable characters in the movie at all.
That is actually a good point.
Yeah, I almost like this is my third time watching this movie in my life. And every time I've watched it, I always wondered was John Carlin's character a serial killer almost? Because the way he behaves is very strange.
The
Um,
way they all behave is strange.
yeah, for sure.
I was pulling for the wife. I was in her corner until she so easily got talked out of the sensible thing of getting on a train and going away from the person who beats you with a belt.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, and that's the thing about him too. When he was trying to look at the dead body, he accidentally hit her. I thought she was gonna leave him. Because honestly, if your husband
Was
hits you,
it
you just leave.
accidental? It's
Yeah,
hard to
Yeah.
tell.
that's a good question. That's one thing I didn't like. I admit, I know I said, said earlier, but yeah, that's one thing I didn't like because he's now hitting his wife.
It's a film with a weak protagonist that's barely in it. And when he is in it, he doesn't matter enough. Talking about the former detective, the old guy. Um,
Yeah, he's useless.
yeah,
I thought he was going to be like the Van Helsing figure.
Oh yeah,
No, they
that'd be
kind
good.
of set it up to look like it's going to be that, and then he just, he has to go get collagen pumped into his eyes so they get puffier and puffier as the thing goes on. He ends up looking like Warren Oates in that Outer Limits episode he did.
Oh
Now
yeah,
the
Jewel.
other cat's
Okay.
getting in the act.
Oh yeah. Actually, Jewel, how did you feel about his character?
the detective.
Oh, I meant the main one. Well, the main character.
Oh,
John Carlin.
John Carlin's character. Well, he's very. We've talked about how the characters are all strange in this movie, and they are. When you watch it, it's weird because he knows the history of the female vampire from Romania, which that's historical fact, by the way, that they're talking about, which is interesting. But he also seems to be very fascinated with death itself.
Oh,
Um,
that's true.
which is why I thought he was a serial killer in a lot of ways. But it's like, why are you even getting married if you're a serial killer? I always took it that in this movie he was always going to either a kill her or find a way to kill his wife for whatever
Was
reason.
there even a mother?
There was a dad, but I don't know. I
That's
mean,
The
actually
dad's
good.
pretty weird too. That's an
yeah,
odd conversation they have.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a point. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I did. I did realize that he talked to the dad, but I never really thought about. But yeah, we don't see the mom at all.
yeah.
Don't see her, don't
It's
smell her.
and when he says it, the mother is actually the trigger word for it all, for the beating that takes place, which is weird. Because when he says about John Carlin's character's mother, he just like he balls up his fist. I'm like, what's he doing? And then how they shoot this, it's like what's going on, but like
Do
you're
you
expecting.
think? Do you think there were some cuts
Yeah, I think
that
so.
explained stuff?
Yeah, I think so. There's got to be, because John Carlin's character is, well, again, we've said that every character in this movie is strange, and that is true. They are, even the vampires themselves. But John Carlin's character, it seems like there's supposed to be more to him, but then because it's like when he's fascinated with all this death going on, he seems to know the history of. It's weird. It's almost like he knows the history of the vampire attacks himself.
Oh, very well.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, wait, how do you know all this?
I didn't even do anything and it gave a thumbs up. It's listening to us, Jewel.
Oh yeah,
Oh, very
actually,
well.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to get you guys' thoughts are. What do you guys think is up with John Carlin's character? How does he know all this stuff? Or
He's a
what?
weirdo. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
I agree
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hope I didn't make myself look bad talking good about him earlier.
No, it's all right. I mean, there's definitely craziness to a lot of these characters, and then when the women show up, I like how they show up in the middle of the night in their car. It gives the old adage, "The dead travel fast," because they're in a fast-moving car. I like how they shoot the woman getting out of the car. The one woman is driving her, so you have servant and master in a way, if you will.
Master of Puppets. How about that song?
Oh
By
yeah.
Metallica, yeah.
You're a fan of Master of Puppets, I bet.
Yeah.
I have every Metallica album.
That's pretty
Now,
cool.
okay. Who's that Irish guy? I hate him.
Which one?
The one who sings Into the Mystic. Van Morrison. He's the
Oh,
worst. He's like the Billy Joel of Ireland. I can't stand that guy.
yeah.
He makes lewdness filthy.
Well, you do. Have you ever listened to Black Sabbath without Ozzy Osbourne?
Constantly.
Great
That's
band,
pretty cool.
even without Ozzy. Even everybody says they died without him. No, they didn't.
All right. Fun fact. Did you know Black Sabbath is the name of a movie too?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
With Barbara Steele, who
yeah.
plays Dr. Julia Hoffman in Dark Shadows 1991.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what did you guys think of the female vampires of this movie, Patrick?
Well, I mean, she's slinky and suspicious. I mean, everything she does is incredibly suspicious. Doesn't really try to hide who she is or what's going on. She almost just, wanders in and screams, "I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! Watch out! I'm gonna kill you! Watch out!" But yeah, she's. Here's the thing, though, that I realized about this while I was watching this movie. Europeans are so busy looking beautiful, they forget to be very interesting.
Yeah, they do.
They like to
Daniel, sorry.
pose at tables and with drinks in their hands against beautiful scenery and give each other significant glances, but nothing results from it except beatings and weirdness.
Yeah, that's true.
Daniel, what did you
Oh my
think of
God,
the?
it gave a thumbs up to beatings and weirdness.
Oh yeah,
I am
that's not good.
far away from this Skype device. I am not making these things happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. With the vampires. Yeah. Like Yeah, they were pretty weird. And I would say, yeah, they're not very interesting. And obviously, I did like the idea of like the younger one actually not liking that she's a vampire because she said that was no way to live.
Alona?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Alona, she was easy on the eyes. I was sad to see her go. I felt sorry for her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Because like she accidentally gets killed,
yeah,
or was it an accident? I mean, this guy did do some other weird stuff.
yeah. Well, what's really weird too about this movie is the hotel bell bellhop guy at the desk. He knows.
He knows, and yet he does nothing.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if he's in on it or not.
Yeah, there's no bite mark. You don't see bite marks on. That's what the tricky part is. There's no bite marks on him. I mean, there could be.
These are biting vampires. I think these are slitting, draining vampires, like in The Hunger.
Yeah, I think that's sort of specified too. What they talk about, the throats were slit too in this movie, which is interesting. I mean, I sort of wonder if that's because you don't see the fangs, right? Okay. I sort of wonder if there's some sort of explanation. There's a cut of this movie where that's explained. Like
they have a musical number about how they were in a cut scene about how they were removed. Fangs for the memories.
There
you go.
And yeah, like also when when the main character cut his throat, like I thought that was gonna be a hint, like I thought at first there were gonna be a hint that he was bitten by a vampire, but then it's like he actually cut his throat.
It goes nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere. She doesn't discover the bloody rag and ask what that's about. He doesn't simply say to his wife, "Oh, baby, I sure cut myself. I'll be in a minute. Find me a styptic pencil." None of that.
Yeah.
This is weird because okay, that's like kind of, it's like weird because it's like hinted that maybe he was bitten by a vampire, but it's like I don't know. Maybe you guys are right. He's just a douchebag.
And I think that 8-Ball says douchebag.
It's on my. Remember how we talked about how Quentin Collins is really aggressive with Maggie Evans? well, John Carlin's character in this movie takes aggressive to a whole nother level. With abuse, physical.
Yeah,
abuse.
don't ask him down to the bar for a belt.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the sort of belt you want.
No, it isn't. And it's all true. That's the weirdest part is, and I do think his character, I would say, is the weirdest in this movie. And his dad's even way weirder, as you mentioned, Patrick.
Now, if I had directed this movie, when he took off his belt to beat her, his pants would have fallen down. He would have had boxer shorts with hearts on them, and he would have tripped over the pants.
No.
And knocked himself out, and there would have been a bird tweeting sound effect near his head before he would have hit his head and gotten up and gone, and then back down. I think it would have broken the atmosphere of the movie, though. Can you imagine if it just suddenly went Three Stooges?
Yeah. What's weird too is his dad looks more like a vampire than anybody.
That's true.
And there are no daughters in the movie. If this is Daughters of Darkness, where are the daughters?
Yeah. There's no. I gather that when they're quoting the history thing with the female vampire, that they're trying to say that somehow the blonde female vampire is a part of that somehow, but it doesn't connect it at all.
Just assumed she was Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah, but it doesn't. 40 years. It's like, oh, she was here 40 years ago. Same. I'm thinking, what? Like, dude. And he's just spilling the information without a care in the world.
He lives dangerously.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've heard of James Bond introducing himself and getting out alive. But this is a whole nother level of, oh, yeah, she was here 40 years ago and she looked just like that. I'm thinking, why would you tell anybody that?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that
without anything coming of it.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing comes of it. Yeah, you're right. Because they could have done some of that too. Like, she could have been pissed off that he found out.
Yeah.
And yet he intentionally puts her in an adjoining suite in this gigantic hotel. Yeah. There's got to be more than one nice suite.
That's what's weird. I wonder if there's a cut of this movie. And again, I'm not trying to pick on this movie. Well, I wonder if okay. Right. I wonder if there's a cut of this movie where there the other rooms are full, or there's just a director's cut of this movie.
No, because they talk about the hotel being empty.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. My bad.
They're the only people in it.
Yeah, and which is weird. Which is weird. It's this big ass hotel. Oh my god!
I don't know if it's an ass hotel. They have those more in Germany.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the almost empty hotel, and they put the women right next to the married couple, the newlyweds. I'll tell you this: that balcony scene where the woman's naked and the door and she's like standing there is like creepy as shit.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's what?
It's creepy.
It's sort of creepy. I mean, if she shows up on my balcony, I'll have a different philosophy. But
I don't
come
blame.
in, may I get you cheese and crackers? And I would
Yes.
serve her a plate of cheese and crackers.
There you go.
You're a naked woman. Have cheese and crackers.
With some
Would you like
sherry.
some Weiler's lemonade? I can mix that up for you. Nothing but the best.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the
What?
main character, do you think he was originally supposed to be a vampire and they took it out for some reason?
I don't know. He was at least obsessed with the subject.
Yeah, that's what's weird about. Again, we've talked about how the characters are weird. That's a great question because it's like he knows about it all too well. He's obsessed with death. He knows the history of the female vampire. It's like either I sort of almost wonder if John Carlin's character in some way, shape, or form wasn't initially written as a not an abusive husband, but taking a wife to go undercover and find these vampires in some weird way. Because
By
it's
beating
almost
his wife severely.
well, that's what's weird though too. It's like I wonder if that's the character was written differently initially to not be an abusive husband, but he's rich. But there's some okay. His dad on the telephone mentions mom, right?
Yeah.
I almost wonder if John Carlin's character had a sibling that had died, and that had died in the way of being killed by a vampire.
Jewel, I have a feeling
What?
that you were giving this movie more thought than even the director did.
Oh yeah, probably.
I am.
Oh, I agree with you guys. Now thinking about it, yeah, his character is not exactly cool, but it's kind of sad because these characters are not really the best. So he's kind of good compared to them,
Yeah, he's the best that they have, and he's horrible.
Yeah, they kill the one woman first, and then they kill him. I thought John Carlin's character was going to be the first to get it, actually, but I was shocked.
That's how it should be. Isn't that the kind of a rule with horror movies? The bad people get killed.
This is not your traditional horror movie.
No, it's not.
It's
So Jewel, tell me about how you discovered this movie and why you suggested it.
I actually had watched this movie when I was 17, on television. Again, this is my third time watching. I haven't seen it a ton of times. I'd forgotten some things about it actually, and the one thing I had forgotten about was the girl getting killed, the servant getting killed, if you will. I had thought she lived initially, but no. Actually, none of the women live. So it's like, but yeah, I wanted to check this out because again, we're getting into October. It's around the corner.
Well, that's true.
Hello.
Oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, I think we lost Patrick there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. For those that don't know, this is an erotic horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually that's one thing that was interesting. I was watching it open up with a sex scene. I know that's big with horror movies. I was thinking, a sex scene already? But yeah, it turns out
Yeah. Let's see if it's getting that. What happened?
It was weird.
Yeah.
It's still recording. Okay, this. Oh yeah. But like John's character's bad, like you guys said. But like I said, like we were saying before, it's just that the other characters are just so much worse in comparison. I know. Well, I know like they're not. Well, he's abusive, but it's just like I don't know what's up with the writing of this.
Yeah, it almost. I've talked about John Carlin's character. We've talked about John Carlin's character the most because he's like you would think he's going to be the protagonist. And it's weird. He knows the most information outside of the detective in this movie is useless. It almost feels like the detective was added at the last minute the way he's written.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if that's the case with this movie, but again, it just like Patrick says, I'm giving this movie a lot more thought than the director did. But again, there's just a lot of weirdness to it that it's like, okay, if John Carlin's character knows all this stuff about vampires and stuff, and when he saw those women too, he's the one who said about staying longer. I'm thinking, well, does he suspect them of something, or is he just that turned on? And it's like he's just that turned on, but he's also talking about the history of this historic lady who like tortured her servants and stuff like that. And it's like, I gotta open up my Facebook because I don't know if Patrick's gonna message me there. But yeah, it's just a weird movie that takes its protagonist or its would be protagonist, and you would think, well, he's going to be your hero, or at least the woman is, and no, because the woman leaves. The woman goes to leave to catch the train, and the woman stops her, and she's like, "No, let me go, let me go." And she goes, "No, you can't just leave after a short marriage. You got to give it a chance." And it's like, lady, you just weren't beat with a belt. Like,
Oh, yeah, it's true. And yeah, that's the thing too, because they could have had her kind of redeem herself, and by like by killing the countess. That's the thing too. Like they killed him. But that's the thing. Like that's another way the vampire thing would have caught on too.
yeah, the vampires in this movie, again, they're very weird. Well, the blonde-haired vampire is very weird. She doesn't bite anybody. She slits their throats and drinks their blood. So, I mean, is she a vampire in the Hollywood movie sense? I would say no. She has strength as a vampire. I think she has hypnotic suggestion, but she's not bearing your fangs. She has a reflection. Her lips have a reflection for sure. Her hands have one. It's like, what's up with this woman? Like
Right.
this movie definitely breaks some rules. And really, I don't know if it has any of its own rules at times, because it just feels like I gotta believe there had to be a scene. There's got to be another cut of this movie. I don't know if there is or isn't, but let's see if we can.
Yeah, you never know, because it's actually funny is there was supposed to be a director's cut of the 2017 version of it. It hasn't came out yet.
Yeah, and I'm sure it probably will though.
Yeah, maybe. It's actually funny because I was actually waiting for it to come out, but by 2018 I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna buy the regular cut.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if we get Patrick back here. See his thoughts on this. Yeah, but it is weird for sure. The hotel being very huge, you think they would have. I think a lot of their cast in this movie is either in Bruges in when they go to that other place, or because it's not at the hotel.
Yeah, that was an epic.
Yeah.
What happened?
And
You never trust Microsoft products on an Apple product.
You all right?
Madness.
Oh yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I can
can.
see you. See
Jewel, you're
you?
just a gray box, but you're full of love.
Oh yeah.
I'm something. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of the extras. A lot of this cast is in the other location. They're not in the hotel. Um, and you see, so when they go there and see the girl has been murdered, that's where you're introduced to the retired detective who's about as useful. Uh, I don't even have a good
There's a
analogy.
fat old man on a bicycle.
Yeah, he's not useful. Yeah, yeah. There you go. He's
Oh
not
yeah.
useful that much. You would think he would be the lead
What's he gonna do?
inspector.
Sit on her?
I don't know. um,
Yeah, I thought that was gonna go somewhere too. I thought like he was gonna like see them, bury the body and like say something or something, but that never happened either.
Yeah, he's standing right on the hill watching them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like this movie was. I know we keep saying it, but it's true. Like if you if you guys want something that's not well written, this is the movie for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Bravo, bravo.
Daughters of Dorkness.
It just seems like a lot of their so-called plot is based off of shady characters. And don't get me wrong, I mean we've seen tons of horror movies with shady characters and lack of redeeming characters, but you got to at least have one good protagonist in your movie, because if you don't, then there's no point to tell your story.
I can't imagine why John Carlin's film career didn't do gangbusters after this.
Yeah, but
He
that
would have made a
television
great Han Solo.
that television career was really good though.
Only when he got fat and mustachioed and married the one person in the cast more masculine than he was, Tyne Daly.
Yeah. uh, but here's the thing, and I'm sure you guys will agree, I don't think it's John's fault that this movie is bad.
No.
Oh no.
He's actually very magnetic. He's a very watchable figure. He makes the transition to leading man really well. It's just the leading man is a schmuck.
Yeah. I know it sucks that he's gone because it'd be nice to ask him about this, but
Oh, I'm sure he had stories.
yeah,
We were running around naked all the time in that movie. I never wore
yeah.
clothes. I insisted on that little weird red robe.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually reminds me of something too. When the younger vampire was in the shower, like, well, you know how she was afraid of the water. I thought she was going to like actually like burn because like water is sometimes a vampire's weakness.
I
yeah.
don't think they had the effects budget.
I probably not.
They blew it all on the location.
They probably giving you the illusion that the water hurts them, though. That's what they're probably doing with that shot. You know what I mean?
That's why she pours out the drink.
Yeah, yeah. So they don't want any kind of like water or liquid that affects them because it'll destroy them. You know. I mean, so they're doing a good job there, but there's other parts of this movie that definitely needed reworking. I mean, it it made no sense to have Carlin's character know all this history and not really do anything with it.
That's true.
You know,
Another
I
thing
mean,
about okay.
sorry, I agree with you, Patrick. He's magnetic to watch in this movie. Good,
yeah,
Daniel.
Yeah, he's a very credible lead. It's again, it's that Curse of Dark Shadows characters where you just want to see them in better movies.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, sure. Oh yeah, and another flaw with his character too, he had that tray with like tea and stuff, and like when he decided to make out his wife, he like, flipped it over. And I was thinking to myself, what if he broke one of the cups,
Oh, he broke a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
And like that might piss the hotel off.
Well, given how they react to broken porcelain, I'm surprised the porcelain didn't leap up and slash his wrist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that would have been interesting, But yeah, oh yeah, I think you're right. He did. Oh yeah, you guys would know. Yeah, he broke a bunch of shit. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
um, yeah, this movie is definitely crazy for sure. It's all right. Favorite? Oh God, I hate to ask this. Favorite character?
Yeah, the Jules Sane formulas maybe need some tweaking on this one.
Yeah. Favorite character? Yeah.
I like
Uh,
Delona.
yeah.
She was
Oh
honey.
man. I'm not sure. Like,
I know your feeling, Daniel. I know the feeling.
oh yeah, I'm gonna go with Alona too. 'Cause she's the only character that's not like totally annoying.
The hotel. The
Oh, the
hotel.
hotel.
Seriously,
Yeah, that's a good choice.
because it's sometime with movies and films and television, places are characters too, and the hotel does a
Yeah.
really good job of being a character in this movie. I mean, it's a lot of the film. It's where a lot of the film is shot, but it works on that sense. I
This
guess
was a
figure.
this was
Sorry.
a film that was shot to put it out of its misery.
Oh yeah.
It was. That's true.
Actually,
Favorite?
Joel, were you the one that suggested this?
Yes, I did. I suggested a bad movie.
Well, that's
Like
okay.
that.
Occasionally that's okay. We because you can learn a lot about how to make a good movie by looking at movies that are not as successful. But a friend of mine has an interesting definition of bad movies because sometimes I feel like too many films are painted with the brush bad movie. And his definition of a bad movie is really simple. And it actually puts puts Island of Dr. Moreau out of the running for it. Because he says a bad movie is a movie I don't want to watch again.
Yeah.
Oh.
And and Island of Dr. Moreau I could watch again. There are weird things going on in it that kind of make me curious. This one, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I saw it because, as Dark Shadows fans, it's good to, fill in the history.
It it does go to show you John Carlin should have had a movie career.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, good. Sorry.
I was just gonna say maybe this wasn't like well written because this is not a good excuse, but like we were talking about an erotic horror movie, and you know what they say, like, they say like porn usually has bad storylines.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
if you don't have a storyline that involves, okay, I'll give a great example. Okay, there's a difference between writing a story that has one or two love sequences in it, or one love sequence that matters, and writing a bunch that really don't matter, especially when you don't have a character that's the one character that's redeeming by the end of this movie is still the woman, because she does kill by driving the car fast, kills the vampire. But it's like it took that long in this movie for that to happen. Now, I will say I applaud her character for leaving, for trying to leave.
I really thought the movie was going to pick up then. I thought, okay, this is going to be a chase, it's going to go to another city. She's going to bring somebody else or Van Helsing type into it,
Yeah.
her brother or something. And no, it doesn't take much to talk her back into going. That's when I really questioned her earlier self-definition of being supremely intelligent.
I
Like
kept
I
I
don't know.
always I every time I go back and watch this movie, I always keep waiting for John Carlin to turn to the woman who's playing his wife and go, "Those girls in the room, one of them is a vampire," and she just looks at him like, I keep waiting for that in this movie, and it never happens.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's weird. That's what's again. There's a lot of weird shit in this movie. So, has anybody got a movie suggestion for tomorrow?
Movie suggestion for tomorrow. I don't know. What would be a good follow-up or antidote to this? I got one.
Yeah.
It's a movie I like a lot. It's called Inner Space.
Okay.
Did you ever see it?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Dennis Quaid,
Okay.
Martin Short, Fiona Lewis, Kevin McCarthy, Meg Ryan.
Was it streaming anywhere?
I'm sure it is.
Hold on.
I'm sure it's on
Hold
YouTube
on.
or something. It's a
Hold
Joe
on.
Dante movie.
Interspace.
Inner, I-N-N-E-R.
Yeah, Inner, sorry. I'll get it right one of these days.
Hey Patrick, have you ever seen Dragon Ball Evolution?
I haven't, and based on the way you guys have talked about it, I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, don't. It's really bad. Well, have
That's
you ever
what I
seen the?
understand.
Have you ever seen the real Dragon Ball? You know, the anime.
I've seen parts of it. I dated a woman whose son was a big fan.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
that's not like it.
I've often threatened, back when I had hair, more hair, I used to want to go into a hairstylist with a picture of Goku and say, make my hair like this.
Oh, that'd be pretty funny.
Just see what their expression would be. It's like, I don't know how to make spikes out of your head.
Oh yeah, that would be an interesting thing though. Like, I wonder what they could do.
Dragon Ball Z always sounded like something you'd go see a doctor about.
Oh
How
yeah.
are you, sir? Why are you seeing me today? Well, I got real Dragon Ball Z. Oh, sir, you need to see a urologist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you know, they're actually coming out with a new show soon.
Good.
Yeah. I found it. Sorry.
No, Jewel, I was about to ask you.
I found it on the Internet Archive, so I'll send it to you.
Jewel, I'm surprised you haven't seen this movie. I think you'll like it. It is a light science fiction adventure. It's a good buddy movie.
It's weird because I've seen Space Truckers.
Inner Space takes place on contemporary Earth of 1987.
Oh.
And yet there is a spaceship. I saw the actual well, it's a submarine. It's an experimental submarine. And it's basically it's a modern day as of 1987, modern day take on Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So is 10:30 good for you guys?
10:30 would be great. It's a fun. Tell Alan.
I'll message him and hopefully he'll be able to join us for tomorrow night.
I was still surprised he didn't come, but I understand if he's busy now.
Yeah, he messaged me about 9:30 something and said I have to work. I said okay. Maybe he watched the movie and just realized, oh God, it's horrible.
That's
Alan
understandable.
is a tremendous diplomat. Butter would not melt in that man's mouth, and so it may have strained his powers of diplomacy. I'm not certain.
Oh yeah. Oh, you guys were talking about how John Carlin's career didn't kick off after this. You never know though. I mean, somehow the Resident Evil movies are successful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you can rely on Mila Jovovich floating naked in a tank, you've got at least that to show up for. I think that really has carried those movies as much as anything. Although the one they did in 3D, the first of the ones they did in 3D was one of the best uses of 3D in that era I've ever seen.
Have you ever played the games? Okay.
No, they did it really well. I've never played the games.
Oh, see, if you play the games, they're like a whole different franchise.
That's what I understand. It's a very different story. Paul W.S. Anderson is not a great director, although he made a movie I like a lot, which is Event Horizon.
Yes, I own that.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, we should talk about that sometime also. Maybe after we talk about Inner Space and talk about Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Oh, is that based on a game too? I'm not sure.
That's science fiction.
It's science fiction. It's a fun movie.
It's a dark, strange film that had really good stuff cut from it at the last minute.
That's not good.
Yeah. But
it's still a solid movie.
Yeah. It's probably, this isn't saying much. It's probably the best film he's done.
Oh yeah. That's a very accurate statement.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. Well.
Yeah, links Zimmy, got anything to add about the movie we just reviewed?
No.
Stay away from this movie.
Yeah. You may go in peace.
Yeah.
Daughters of Darkness. Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook about is going to be in the description box. There is an audio version out. Go pick it up if you haven't already. Links to Daniel Culver's YouTube channel is going to be in the description box. And even though he couldn't join us for that, yep, link to Collinsport After Dark is going to be in the description box. Go subscribe to Al's channel.
I'll see you tomorrow, Jewel.
See
Bye,
you
Daniel.
tomorrow.
Take
Bye.
care.